Good morning. Very warm welcome to all of you. It's Jim from maverickstar Observatory. Been absent for a few days. Been busy visiting a few relatives. I was standing, can you believe it or not, outside Chelsea Football Club yesterday. Couldn't help imagine what must be going through Roman Abramovich's mind right now, having had that company seized by the British government. What I wanted to do is just jump in and share with you guys a little about what's going on with the anomalies that are taking place with our Earth. I know a lot of you have had your imaginations captured at the moment with all what's taking place in the Ukraine, and it's very sad. I think we'll all agree on that, and I think that some of you guys would agree with me that it could have largely been avoided. And you know, if it weren't for NATO sticking their nose into the business of the Ukrainians, encouraging them to try and join NATO and be part of Europe, none of this would have happened. It could have been avoided, I'm sure. And those 30,000 people that was with us just 3 weeks ago would still be with us today. Only not. That isn't the case because of the war has taken their lives away. And that will have affected millions and millions and millions of people. I've got to say, I'm really proud of the global effort. To some respects, let's make this clear. The personal help that individuals have given Ukraine, like all the people and the volunteers in Poland that have managed a refugee crisis that has not been witnessed since the Second World War. Kudos to all you people. The British people, again, have stood on the line, and the generosity of the millions of pounds that the British people have raised, and not only that, opened up their own homes, can you believe it, for these people to take shelter in their houses. 80,000 people, and that number is still rising today, for people that live in the United Kingdom, that are prepared to put a family up of those people that have gone through these atrocities. It sometimes, and I can understand it, pales almost into insignificance the other anomalies that are taking place with our Earth, but equally just as serious. Our Earth is going through changes never witnessed before, probably by humans. If we're to believe in the record of Homo sapiens being on this planet, it would only be going back to 45,000 years. I'm sure we've been here a lot longer than that. I have doubts as to what these Egyptologists account for how old the pyramids are. I think they're a lot older, and I think we've been around a lot longer than 45,000 years. And I think at some point we had even greater technologies than what we've got today. If I could, just before we go through the Earth Alpha at a glance, just give a little plug for the Observatory, because as you can imagine, a lot of people's attentions have been captured, rightfully so, by what is taking place in Europe right now with Ukraine. And I just want to say this, we suffered largely at the Observatory when we went through a good 2 years of COVID outbreak, and as a result of that we lost potential funding. People were a little bit shy in coming forward and making a donation. You can see the donation button there in the top left hand corner, and nobody on the website has made a donation since the 3rd of March. And although we have had a couple of donations made on the link that we put down beneath these videos, it is still starting to look like it's falling behind again, when we got off to a promising start in January and didn't do too bad really in February, but again now in March it's starting to look like we are going to be falling behind again. I just want to say, guys, we can't do this without funding. And we need people to stand by our backs as well, because I'm sure that you'll agree with me that what is taking place on our Earth, that hasn't took place for at least thousands and thousands of years. If we go back to the last completed magnetic reversal 780,000 years ago, we've had excursions, but excursions can't be taken in the same light as completed reversals. These were just very mild failed attempts at reversing. And even if we was going for an excursion now, which I doubt we are, you know, the magnetosphere would almost collapse to probably 5-10% of its total power of when we're usually accustomed to enjoying 100%. You know, we're down at this moment to levels already seeing losses of 20% of our magnetic field strength, which pushes those harmful cosmic rays out and stops them interacting with the molecules in our atmosphere. And that is in turn what sets up the patterns to create chaos with our jet streams. You know, it's frustrating, guys, and it must be for you as well, to see the lies of the real villains in our world. I'm talking about our governments, and we're going to get into this just a little bit later on in the video. But it is sad to see the blatant lies when the truth is in your face, couldn't be any more in your face. You know, we have on this website lots of information for you. We've archived it as well, which is what you won't find on a lot of even bigger websites that are run by some of these organisations like the European Space Agency and NASA. They will never archive the data so that you can go back 2 years and see for yourself just what is changing. Some people worry about the amount of earthquakes and the amount of volcanoes that are erupting on our planet. If you look at the archive, you'll see that it's averaged out. These haven't really significantly increased in any way or so, but the nice thing about it is that you can check for yourself on this website. You can go along there, you can have a look at how much CO2 is increasing, you can have a look at the atmospheric oxygen content in our atmosphere, you can check the background radiation, the volcanoes, the muons in the UK and in Canada. And I will just say big thank you to Kendall. He sent us some data that he recorded during a geomagnetic storm that happened on the 13th of March, and it went up to 1056 muons per hour per square meter. That just shows you when we have a moderate CME, coronal mass ejection, come off the sun and interfere with our upper atmosphere, how much it increases the radiation in just muons alone. It just gives you an idea of, can you imagine a world where we lost our magnetosphere for a prolonged period of time? And you know, I've showed you many times, when we look at Mars and we know it had a magnetosphere, we know it had a magnetic poles on its surface, we also know it had water and atmosphere. All those are gone as a result of the magnetosphere going, and that tells us how important the magnetosphere is. And this time that we're in during this anomaly, you know, the magnetic poles reversing on our planet, how serious it is for us. And mainstream organisations are reluctant to talk about it in any serious given manner or form. But that's what we do here at the Observatory for you guys, you know. And if you want to help support our efforts and what we do, you know, there is a link down there. If you go over to our website, it'd be great to see a few more people, you know, support us and be proactive. And you know, you can do that. So, having a look at the Earth Alpha at a glance, you can see that the atmospheric CO2 is slightly up from the last time we measured it. It's at 446 parts per million. Atmospheric oxygen content is nice and healthy, good reservoir of oxygen at the moment, 20.35%, which is, you know, a large reservoir of oxygen. And, you know, we're not seeing any massive changes with that from month to month. There's the latest latitude and longitude of the magnetic pole position. In 2 days' time, we'll be having a look at that. And I just want to say, guys, you know, we're 12 months away. Just 12 months away from that 40-degree mark. You know, we have 1 year left to that point in time. Moving on, muons over the UK, 542 muons per hour per square metre. Over Canada, it's at 900, still showing a little increase on its average. We've got 5 sunspots active on the disk at the moment. The geomagnetic field is quiet, solar X-rays are normal, and our jet streams are unstable as a result of the inbound radiation due to a weakened magnetosphere of around 20%. So that's the Earth Health at a glance for today. If you want to go over there, compare it with all the other archived data sets that we've collected, you can do, and come back on the 17th of this month, in a couple of days time, and we will pinpoint the magnetic North Pole position and give you an account as to how much that has migrated over the last month or so. So I just wanted, before we go, I mentioned Roman Abramovich having his football club seized. I just wanted to talk about that just briefly with you guys, because when I say there is evil in this world, it seems to be coming from just a very few people, as you can imagine. It always is. It's always the general public that pull together in times of crisis for each other. And what has caused these issues to occur? It's usually from these government leaders. That's a mess that's taking place in the Ukraine. Over 30,000 people have lost their lives. Millions have been displaced. It's because these politicians can't do the right thing, sit down and sort it out and discuss matters. They have to resort to the childish toys like tanks, cruise missiles and bombs, and take innocent people's lives away as a result of their incapabilities of being able to sit down at a table and work things out like logical human beings. We don't know where this is going to end up. Heaven forbid, that this escalates to a third world war. Because people, I'm sure, that are very complacent these days, and they don't understand what that will involve. But we're talking about the loss of 30 to 40,000 people's lives at this moment. If Third World War starts, we'll be talking about millions of people losing their lives. And let's not forget, we are talking about P5 nations that are armed to the teeth with nuclear missiles. We go back to the doomsday clock and have a look at what the main concerns are of those scientists that use the analogy of 100 seconds to midnight shows us how close we are to total destruction. What are the 2 main criteria of concern they have? Climate change and the threat of atomic warfare. And what have we seen today? We're seeing the malfunctions of jet streams, largely caused through an Earth going through a magnetic field reversal. And we're seeing P5 nations armed to the teeth with nuclear missiles go head to head, almost. We're not that far away. And it's no wonder that those scientists that run the doomsday clock have put it only 100 seconds to midnight. But what is really frustrating and annoying for me, I dare say it is for you guys, is that these world leaders believe if they do even pay any attention to the world doomsday clock, will still believe that they have time. There is still 100 seconds to act. Well, they may think that, but I can guarantee you the clock ran out of time for those that was with us 3 weeks ago and not here today as a result of their incapabilities to sit down like adults and talk. It's a sad time, guys, that we're all living in. It really is. It's really shameful to be a human being at this point in time with all what's going on. I can't believe human beings, being one of the most intelligent species on this planet, behaves in such a manner of barbaric evil. I did want to talk about some of the laws that are being broken. I was going to talk about Justin Trudeau in Canada, the Canadian Prime Minister, what he did, and call him out on it, because what he did is he enacted the Emergencies Act in order to shut those trucker protests down. Stamping all over democracy, talking about how important it is in one aspect and then stamping all over it in the next. People's freedoms are at the heart of democracy.
in any democratic society. And when you stamp over them and you don't communicate, I'm sure they're losing. They have lost communication with the public. They do not listen to us anymore. It doesn't matter what country we're in. We're having our freedoms taken away at an alarming rate. You know, I disagree, by the way, with seizing the billionaires' assets. I think it's just daylight robbery. You know, which I'll show you in a couple of days' time, the laws that they have broken and used the loopholes in these laws, and I'll show you exactly how they use the loopholes to override them. They might as well not say we've got any at all, because for every freedom we have with the European Rights Act, there is a loophole which can be abused, and that's exactly what they're doing. You know, talk about hypocrisy. We're not going to buy oil and gas from Russia, but we're going to go to Saudi Arabia and buy it from them. It's massive hypocrisy on a grand scale. The reason why we are seeing the energy crisis spike so crazy in this country is not because of Russia. It's because of people like Boris Johnson not putting these energy billionaires in line. And that's why we're all paying now £1,000 extra for our energy bills in this country. And it is probably likely the case for whatever country right now you are in listening to me right now. It's shameful. We just live in a world where there is so much corruption. You know, I'm not surprised when I see in the comment section that people say, bring on a third world war, bring on a catastrophic, cataclysmic event, so that we get a glimpse of hope of a reset. Well, guys, I'm going to leave you with those thoughts. There's a link down there in the description if you want to help support us, what we do at this observatory. Hopefully you realise we're proactive here. We don't just talk, we actually have the equipment and we take those readings, as we have done for the last 4 years now, as an official observatory for you guys. So at least there is some truth. There is a teeny bit of light there for you in the immense darkness that we're in right now. So, as always, you take care of your loved ones. I'll be back in a couple of days with pinpoint position of the magnetic North Pole and some more news, hopefully, for you. Guys, take care. Bye for now.